Hi everybody and welcome back to Lost Genre Reddit Stories. A quick info before we begin. Today's video has two stories and both of them have updates. Now let's get started with the first one. This post is from the subreddit Relationships and it's by user ErkyThrowaway90. Found out that my 27 female fiance 39 male of a year cheated on his wife with someone I know. I've been with my fiancé Kyle for a year and I'm completely in love with him. He's smart, supportive, loving, reliable, and just everything I could ever want and more. He's from my city, moved away 2 years ago, but frequently comes to my city to work, which is how we met. And now we're engaged and I'm moving to where he lives so that we can live together. Now, earlier on in our relationship, he had told me that he had some wild years when he was young and single, and also that his previous marriage ended due to his infidelity. He also said that he learned a lot, and although he feels that ultimately he and his wife are better off apart, he regrets hurting her by cheating. And regarding our relationship, we've had no problems with anything like cheating or suspicions of cheating, and I trusted him implicitly. Then, a week ago, a day after he proposed, I announced it on Facebook, changed my relationship status, and added a picture of Kyle and me to my profile. I had never shown a picture of him on there because I learned my lesson about that in a past relationship. Less than an hour of having it up, I got a message from one of my close friend's older sister, she's 35, telling me that she hates to do this, but she'd been involved with Kyle 4 years ago and he had lied and said he was single, but he actually had a wife, and that she was just warning me because she doesn't want him to break my heart as he did to her. I felt so sick to my stomach the moment I read it, screenshotted it and sent it to Kyle. He called me right away and told me that yes, he had been with her and that she's who he cheated on his wife with. He didn't know I knew her and he regretted it and it's a mistake he'd never make again, etc. We talked for hours, but he was abroad at the time, so we didn't get to speak face to face until this weekend. He's been nothing but apologetic and I said I was fine, but I just can't relax. I feel sick about it. I feel like I couldn't even be normal when I was with him this past weekend. I just couldn't stop thinking about it. I know he's definitely divorced, without a doubt, but I just feel sick about the whole situation. I hate that he did something so ugly, especially with someone I know and someone I'm sure I will run into at some point in my life. I hate the thought of her telling my close friend and my close friend knowing something like this about my fiancé. I just keep thinking, how can I invite her to my wedding knowing Kyle has had an affair with her sister? Most of all, I'm scared that when I move in with him, I'm going to be the wife he has at home and he's going to cheat on me like he did to his ex-wife. I feel like my trust in him is gone, and I know I knew about the infidelity before. It just feels so much more real now, in a weird way. I don't know. I'm just scared that I can't trust him. Am I overreacting? Any advice would be appreciated. I love my fiancé and I don't want this to ruin us. Thank you. Alright OP, there's a lot of information in your post, but I'm going to assume some things that you are absolutely okay with and have no influence in your decision making. And this would be the age gap, the amount of time you guys have been together, and the fact that he lives in another city. So I'm just gonna focus on the whole cheating thing. You guys know my opinion regarding cheaters. They suck. But at the same time, I do believe in redemption, or else what's the point of learning from your own mistakes? Cheaters who keep cheating, or cheaters that actually say, oh, it wasn't my fault, it was yours. Yeah, those are all scumbags. The ones that have genuinely learned that what they did was wrong and are regretful of it or remorseful of it, then those, I would be a little bit more inclined to trust. In your case, I didn't get the impression that you had a problem with his past cheating and you guys were absolutely okay. What made it a problem now is that he did it with somebody that you know. So 1, now his cheating seems more real. And 2, you're kind of worried about the optics, as how your friend is going to know something so dark and horrible about your fiancé, a man you're marrying, and what that says about you. Well, you need to take that on a scale and put it up against all the positives in your life about your love and your relationship and how you trusted him. If the negative is just too much, then it's absolutely okay to end the relationship or to extend the engagement. If not, then feel safe in your choice and go all in. And that is a decision that you have to make. And what do you guys think OP should do? What would you do if you were in her shoes? Let me know in the comment section, and now let's move on to the community comments to see what they said. Deleted says, you already knew he had cheated on his ex-wife. Would you be feeling this way if the person who reached out was someone that you didn't know quite as well as you do now? I don't really get why knowing who it was that he had the affair with suddenly changed your ability to trust your fiancé. Not when you already knew that his last serious relationship ended because of his infidelity. It kind of makes me wonder if you didn't actually trust him from the get-go, but you convinced yourself that you did. And now the wool has been rudely ripped off from your eyes and you can no longer tell yourself that you can trust him like you talked yourself into previously. And OP responds, I think it's the realization that it actually happened. It's not just something in the past, it's real, and he really hurt both his ex-wife and my friend's sister. And he's clearly a great liar since he made her believe he was single. Just imagining him removing his ring before going to see her makes me sick. Selfishly, I'm just so scared he's going to do it to me. He travels so much for work, I would probably never know. My Lovely Horse 2016 says, in a sense, you haven't really learned anything new about him, merely had some flesh put on the bones of what you already knew. Nonetheless, I can see why knowing more details has been so unsettling for you. Sad face. We can't really predict if he's going to cheat in the future. It's too glib to say, once a cheater, always a cheater. I think people can change. I think the main thing to do would be slow your engagement right down. You might need much longer than you originally planned to get to know this guy and find out what he's all about. As an aside, it seems to me important when this happened. If he was pulling this crap not too long ago, when he was in his mid-30s, I'd seriously question how much he'd really changed. If it was 15 years ago, it would worry me less. Beagle Mama says, please listen to your gut. It's telling you to run away for a reason. It sounds like he didn't just have a one-night stand when he cheated, which would have been bad enough, but he actually had a relationship with someone and lied to her, telling her he was single. I wouldn't trust him to stay faithful to you. Additional information from OP's comments. I have asked about his wild years, and he said after things ended with his college girlfriend, he was a player. Wouldn't commit for more than a month or two, slept with a lot of girls, partied a lot, and things of that nature. He said he was an a-hole, pretty much. Now, things that bug me are that the cheating went on longer than I realized, who it was with, that he actually broke her heart, and that I'm scared he could lie to my face as he did with her. But considering he's been pretty upfront about his past transgressions thus far, I have no reason not to believe him. This rattled me so badly because I know him and his ex-wife, and the affair partner was a stranger and blamed the affair partner on them regardless of what he did. I love him and trusted him, so in my mind the affair couldn't be 100% his fault. So finding out that he did this to someone I know and someone I at least somewhat respect, and hearing from her how he lied, has taken away my ability to blame someone else for what he did. Even worse, the added detail of her being led on by him hits just a little too close to home with my relationship with him. Now, I admit, I'm definitely embarrassed and I hate that our relationship will be judged by my friends and family because of this. I know he did something wrong, but I genuinely believe him when he tells me that he regrets it. I've already had to grow thick skin because everyone comments on our age gap, and now I'm going to have to hear about this too. This just makes me glad that I'm moving. We're not waiting until marriage. We're moving in now that we're engaged. I just didn't intend to move for someone again unless the relationship was serious enough to be heading toward marriage like we are now. Also, he had no reason to believe I would have ever found out about my friend's sister. He could have just straight up lied. I think this situation just reminded me of a situation with my ex, in which after we broke up, people I thought were friends came forward and told me things that they knew that had been going on throughout our relationship and had said nothing the whole time, just watching me look foolish, believing all of my ex's lies, and I guess it just made me panic and worry what lots of people that I know and trust know things about my fiance and the fool who doesn't know again. It kind of felt like, oh no, not this again. Alright, so I guess the community was asking the right questions because OP gave us a lot of context regarding their situation. So let's move on to the update to see how this story ends, but of course before that, here's another one of my playlists for you to enjoy after the video. Now let's get on with that update. So my fiance came to town and we had a long talk. Prior to his arrival, I called my friend's older sister because I felt like I needed to bite the bullet and hear her out through something other than Facebook. She said she was shocked when she saw the picture of me and Kyle and felt bad for contacting me the way she did, but she just immediately felt like she had to tell me. We talked for a while. Thankfully, I didn't have to hear any new details that I didn't already know again, because that's something I was worried about before I called. The general gist of it is she doesn't feel I should trust him and doesn't think well of him at all, which I totally understand. When I talked to Kyle, I was just totally honest with him and told him that I feel like if he could do that to someone else, then I'm worried he will do the same to me. He said he doesn't know how he can convince me that it was a mistake, as in something he shouldn't have done, choices he shouldn't have made, not a mistake as in an accident. That he never wants to repeat other than to continue to be sincere with me, and he said he's willing to do what it takes to make me feel comfortable again. He said he's willing to move forward now, but if I want to wait on moving in, then he gets it. Or if I want to get married later than we had discussed, then he gets that too. I told him I don't want to wait on moving in, but maybe just slowing things down and having a longer engagement would be a good idea. My mom said to me that when I marry him, that he and I become a team and become each other's family. And in order for that to work, there's no room for dishonesty or distrust. So I guess I want to wait a little longer to take that step. We also talked about how much he travels, and I told him that I worry about being alone half of the time once we get married and get pregnant. He said he's already been looking into slowing down his schedule and that it will be a gradual thing, but that he'll be home a lot more this time next year so that we'll have more time together. I know that I don't know it all, which is why I made the original thread. I'm aware that my relationship could go up in flames, which I really hope doesn't happen, don't we all? But I just feel like there's so much good between Kyle and me that I would be missing out if I cut things off based on a what if. Yeah, we've been long distance since we met, but we see each other 1 or 2 nights usually every week. My only other serious relationship started out long distance too. Although I see Kyle 10 times more than I saw my ex at first, so I guess it's just something I'm used to. He's been so good to me and I've been happier than ever, apart from this snag. So seeing things through seems like the right choice. Overall, it was a draining conversation, but I'm glad we had it. I feel better about things now. The fear I had has eased and I want to work on things so we can get married. I'll be moving to his city after my birthday in just over 2 weeks. Well, OP, you've gotten a bit more information and you've made your decision. Hopefully it was the right one. Good for you on taking some time to move through things slowly so that you can grow stronger together. So here's wishing you the best in the future, OP. Take care and thank you for sharing. Now let's move on to the next post that, like I said in the beginning, also has an update. This post is from the subreddit Relationships and it's by user KillYouABeta. Me, 21 female, engaged after 2 months of knowing each other and dating with my boyfriend, 20 male duration. Short description. So we met each other while playing Leagues of Legends and we decided to meet up in real life. We instantly had a connection and the last 2 months with him had been absolute bliss. After visiting family in another town, I came home and he asked if I wanted to go out to eat. Nothing out of the ordinary, but bam! He proposed and it was in front of his friends and family. I said yes. I see myself in the future with him, but I said yes in the moment and now some things are concerning me. Firstly, he was dating someone else just 2 months before me for 4 months. From what he told me, it was not a messy breakup. I am also concerned as I am only graduating this year and he dropped out of university and started attending a coding school, which will take him 3 years to finish. This is the first year of it, so finances-wise, I will be the one taking care of us. I honestly don't mind about being the main source of income. I love him and would do anything for him, but all these concerns are in my head and I don't know what to do. Listen to them. I want to tell him to call off the engagement for now, but he is a sensitive person and I don't want to hurt him. He struggles with depression. Are all the variables in our relationship a red flag? Why did I say yes so soon? He is also asking me why I haven't set my status to engaged when he has. This all happened a week ago. Is it bad that I want to hold things off for a while until we know each other better? Please help. Ouch, OP, this is not just a lot of red flags. This is a lot of red flags merged together into one huge mega red flag. So he was dating somebody for 4 months, broke up, was single for 2 months, met you, and 2 months after that he makes this grand gesture of a proposal in front of his friends and family. You said yes, I guess, because of the pressure and you just didn't know what to say. But his family was there and nobody stopped him? Nobody said, "You sure about this? It's 2 months, man. You're still in the honeymoon stage." Same thing somebody should have told you. Yes, you should definitely call off the engagement until you guys know each other a whole lot better. You guys haven't talked about anything. What about finances? What about work-wise? What about children? What about all the things that you need to talk about before you think about spending the rest of your life with somebody? Now, from what you tell us about his dating background and how much time he actually spent alone with himself after a breakup, I get the idea that your boyfriend kind of defines himself based on the relationships and he thinks he's happy if he is in a relationship. That, of course, is not healthy. So OP, yeah, you definitely need to stop this. And what do you guys think about this situation? What is your advice for OP? Let me know in the comment section, and now let's move on to the community comments to see what they said. Domo Mans says, WHAT, what? 2 months is absolutely nothing. I wouldn't even call a person boyfriend or girlfriend until only I really felt the relationship was worth it. Yet, not only did you meet on League of Legends, you're living totally different life paths, still young and not settled down, so your future could bring you anywhere. Please, for the love of God, I would take your time. Being engaged after 2 months for me is just absurd. You hardly know each other. And OP responds, I blame myself for saying yes, but it was spontaneous and his family was there, so I said yes. I will talk to him tonight about my concerns and see where it takes us, cause I feel like we have something amazing. Deleted says, as someone who's 20 and also met their significant other on League of Legends when we were both 18 and flew from Florida to Canada to meet someone after 8 months whom I didn't even Skype with, I actually think you're crazy. Sorry to sound pessimistic, but you should listen to your instincts. This isn't going to work out at all. Impulsivity is not the same as trusting your instincts. You aren't even legally married. You can just give him back the ring and move on to someone who's more stable, because he honestly sounds like he only did this so that he has something that makes him happy that he can look forward to. I agree. The minute something starts going wrong, he's going to crumble within the relationship as well. He needs to help himself first before he can even think of being with someone else. Also, you should pay attention to the way he acts in his games. That's a major personality identifier. And OP responds, I also thought it was crazy, but I guess when you are in love, that's what happens. You're definitely right about us not being legally married yet, so I think there is time to tell him to slow down a bit. That'll go well. I will voice my concerns to him and see where it goes from there. Thanks for the advice. This has been weighing me down and I want to enjoy my time with him and not feel so burdened. Kid237 says, it is a huge red flag. I dated a guy when I was 17 and we'd known each other in college. This is embarrassing, but I was suffering with my mental health at the time. Anyway, on our first date, he said, I love you. And me being the fragile person I was, I said it back. Turns out he was so controlling, he would start arguments over what I was wearing, music I listened to. He went through my phone, through my bag. I walked on eggshells around him all the time, not knowing what would set him off. This is the kind of person who proposes after 2 months. It is not long enough. Please get out now. And OP responds, he is a genuinely nice guy. He has shared with me all of his pain and I can't bear thinking about adding to that. But I am starting to see what you all tell me, that I am still very young and have a lot to learn. I plan to talk to him tonight and see where it goes. I don't know if I would break up with him, but I think I will give back the ring and tell him I want to take things slower. I know our relationship won't be the same, but if it survives, I think we could be stronger. It's going to be hard though. Alright, well the community is just counting the red flags and they keep going. And apparently OP kinda sees what people are saying, but she still thinks they can make it. I personally think the blow up is gonna be epic, so how about we move on to the update to see how that went. So I talked to him Saturday night, it took everything I got and I was scared. I eased him by starting to talk about what we each wanted in terms of career path, where we want to live, kids, etc. Found out that he wants 4 and I only want 1, lol. After the light talk, I expressed my concerns that we might be rushing things and I gave him his ring back. He started to cry and at first I was starting to feel really guilty. He was going nuts and I was a little scared, but I was able to calm him down. I told him that we should call off the wedding and that didn't go down well. He called me names and claimed that I didn't really love him. I told him I wanted to work things out, that we could be together but not married for now, not engaged. He said that he needs space and time to think. It has been almost 3 days now and he won't talk to me, won't answer my texts, and he won't see me. His mom has been posting stuff on his Facebook wall about relationships and stuff. Oh, mommy's posting for him. Yeah, that screams husband material right there. I reached out to the girl he was dating for 4 months before we started dating 2 months later, and she told me that he had proposed to her and that is why they broke up. With the same ring he claimed to have bought for me using his savings. Needless to say, I feel gutted. Should have probably contacted the ex first, but I didn't want to be that guy and I was in love. I still have feelings for him, just can't turn them off, but I know now that being with him will bring me tears. I am tempted to try to salvage the relationship, but I won't be. Going to take time for myself away from everything. Thank you so much to everyone who answered on my post. This has been a very sobering experience and I hope to grow from it. I really appreciate all the replies. It made me feel like I was not crazy for all the concerns I had been having. Well, OP, can't say I'm surprised, but at least you're out, which is the silver lining. Honestly, just try to move on, and the next time, make sure you know a lot more about the person before you say yes. Like, a lot more. Thank you for sharing, OP, and take care. And that's it for today's video. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch it. Now, if you've gotten to this point in the video, I assume that you like these stories that I'm reading out, so here are a couple more that you might enjoy. And if you don't have any time to watch another story right now, save it for later, and also, don't forget to hit that subscribe button.